Good morning from Singapore. Today is a very exciting day because
we're flying business class on Singapore Airlines.
You are going to Terminal 3, is it?
Yes. And this is exciting for two reasons. Thank you very much.
Yep.
One, we've never flown business class before. And two, the flight from Singapore to JFK in New York is the longest current operating flight in the world at 9,532 miles. And if you stick around till the end of the video, I'll tell you how we paid for it and how much it was.
We're so excited.
Made it into the business class lounge here in Singapore. You don't go through security before going to your gate, you actually do security at your gate, so we have to make sure we leave enough time later to go through security as opposed to just being through security right now. Obviously had to get the buffet, got some breakfast, may or may not have accidentally started pouring soy sauce on my pancakes. Stopped quickly, but it started pouring out a little too fast the maple syrup, and then I turned the label and saw it said soy sauce. Tough goes. In my defense though, it is in a clear glass jar and the soy sauce is the same color as the syrup, which is like right next to it. So I eventually found the syrup, but I might have some saltier pancakes than anticipated.
Thank you, bye.
And just like that, it is time to board the longest flight in the world.
Got some chocolate for our flight attendants.
I see it, our first glimpses of our home for the next 17 hours.
I'm so excited.
Thank you. This way, please.
Thank you.
Excited.
Happy to be sick.
First glass of champagne.
Okay, I'll do a full tour once we're airborne, but so far I think we're gonna survive 17 hours in these seats. And this leg room is unreal. Never experienced anything like this on a plane before.
Already scheduled my next champagne glass by accident. She said, "Do you want another one after takeoff?" And I said, "Why not?"
All right, now that we have taken off, it's time for a little tour of this amazing seat here on Singapore Airlines business class. So starting out, we have this massive seat. It is humongous. You could probably fit both of us in one. It would be a little more squished, but for one person, this seat is amazing. It's so wide. You really just have a great place to sit. And then moving over here to my right side is where the tray tail pops out to like so. It's humongous. Biggest tray table I've ever had in my life, I'd say. Table height adjust, push tab, lift table. Oh, and it's height adjustable. Look at that. That's pretty fun. So that pops out of there. The question is, does it go back in? Alright, we're going to do this with the table out for now, and then we'll figure it out from there. And then to the right of that is a little more storage. It's another little pop-up thing, like so. And in there is some headphones, and there was a water bottle, but I already drank it. It was in this bottle. Good water. And then moving a little further to the right behind me here is another little storage area. Currently I have my headphones in there, but just a good little spot for like, I don't know, magazines, I guess, like whatever you're carrying. Ah, figured it out. Okay, so the table stores back in there eventually. Figured it out. And over here to my right is the remote control for the entertainment area. Pops out of the wall. It is wired in, it's not wireless, which isn't like that big of a deal, but it's definitely like kind of restrictive and you can kind of feel that like pull on it when you're doing stuff on it. But super convenient, so you don't have to like reach up to touch the TV because it's so far away. And I actually don't think the TV is touchscreen anyway, so I think you have to use this. And then we also got a nice squishy pillow. This will be coming in handy when we go to sleep later because this seat does in fact lie flat, which is a huge plus. And then moving over onto my left side is all these buttons down here that actually control like the seat movements. So I think this one is like the light in my seat somewhere. I don't know where it is. Let's see. Okay, so that light is up there. It's like the reading light on the ceiling. Push this next one. Okay, so that's the ambient lighting, like over here on my right side. And then these buttons are all dedicated to lying down, it looks like. So let's see what happens. Oh yeah, here we go. And then just gotta keep holding it down until it gets nice and flat. Now you're in like a lying down, zero gravity chair-esque position, like a recliner. That's nice. And this button just pushes it back. Hold that down again and you just come right back up. Easy peasy. This button, I think this button does something with the leg rest. Okay, so this button just moves like the leg rest up. So you can be seated upright, but still have your legs somewhat elevated from like the knee down. And then this button just swings it back into a normal seated position. And then the next 3 buttons are related to like the flight attendants. So I think one's like a call button, one's like a do not call button, and then one is a do not disturb button, probably for when you're sleeping and don't want to be woken up for a meal service or whatever else comes around. And then beyond that is just a headphone jack for watching movies to plug your headphones into. Just got my second glass of champagne. Sarah already finished hers. Pretty rude. You didn't finish it? Oh, you were waiting for me? Oh, she's not rude. I thought she was rude. That's so nice of her. Cheers. Too kind. I also just remembered or realized that behind me is like an outlet for charging things. And it has a regular outlet, it looks like, as well as 2 USBs and an HDMI cord. I wonder if you can like plug your laptop in and watch like your laptop on the TV if you really wanted to. I don't have an HDMI cord, so I'm not gonna try it, but kind of cool. Also over to my left, there are these other light switches that turn on different reading lights that are down here at a lower angle. So you can turn those 2 on. You kind of have like a different degrees of lighting, as you can see. Makes it brighter. And then I think this is a bed light if you want to turn it on when you're in the bed position. Try that one out later. And then also at the front, there's like a mirror that you can open up and take a look at yourself for when you're feeling a little greasy, or seeing if you're feeling greasy when you're like 12 hours into this 17-hour flight. But I think...
I was just doing my hair.
Oh, you're just... Oh.
I was literally just putting braids in my hair, and I only did one side, and I was like, oh, I wish I had a mirror, so thanks for that. I'll use it for this side. Or I'll just keep the look. Do we like it? Half up, half braided, half not.
I totally think the half braided look is a good one for you. I will say one small complaint that I have right now that is, take it or leave it, is that I keep resting my arm on the tray table, and because you push it down to open, it doesn't take much force to open it, so I keep opening it and it keeps like lifting up, so then I have to like push it back down again. So I have to be more conscious about like where I'm resting my arm, but something to note for sure. So we are in row 19 and we are in the middle 2 seats, so I believe it's 19D and F. And these are actually what's called bulkhead seats, which means that they're right up against the galley or like the bathroom area. We picked these seats on purpose because apparently every other seat, except for the bulkhead seats in each section of business class here on this plane, have a diagonal footrest. So if you want to lie down, you have to put your feet at an angle, whereas the bulkhead seats are like fully open on the front. So we picked these seats on purpose because of that, but it is something to note because the galley is right there. And if you don't know your neighbor, or you want some privacy, it's not the full wall, but you know, it's a little something. Kind of a pain to open though, I'll be honest. It's a little stiff. I think one of my favorite things also is the fact that there are no overhead bins above us, so it makes the cabin feel so much bigger, and you can stand fully upright without kind of like tilting your head or like crunching over, which is so nice. I am not a particularly tall person by any means, but it's still very noticeable to be able to stand up and like be fully vertical and really get a good stretch in. We get these menus too. It has like all the food in them that we're going to be served on this flight or have the option to be served. It's very comprehensive. There's a lot on here. Looking good. I think we're going to eat pretty well on this flight. Hello. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's the salmon.
Amazing.
Sorry,
Thank
the
you.
scallop salad.
Looks great.
Would you like me to
Yes,
over?
please, yes.
Alright, please enjoy.
Amazing. Thank you so much. First course. I don't even remember what it is. We have the pan-fried scallops with cured lemon, Labneh. Labneh. That is good. Wow. Sarah's also here. It's just hard to film both of us. I know you want to see more of me anyways.
First meal in business class. I feel like a queen. I've never had real like silverware before. So there is a menu, but I didn't order anything off of it because I did my managed booking beforehand and pre-ordered gluten-free meals. So I asked what this was when it came out because it's not on the menu. And it's the couscous with like turkey and pear, I believe. They give me a lot of condiments, so I have oil, which I used, and I also butter. And then I also got whole milk, which honestly I'm really confused about because I've had couscous before, but maybe not in like a fancy setting. I don't know if I'm supposed to pour whole milk over my dish. So far the meal is great. The couscous is wonderful.
All right, for my main course, I got the minced pork with noodles, and holy cow, it looks awesome. I'm also challenging myself with the chopsticks. Thank you. Sarah thinks I'm gonna do great, so let's see how we do. We'll go for the big stuff first. The big stuff is always easier to grab. That is the good stuff. Absolutely.
All right, here's the main course. I got the beef and the sweet potato puree with onions and peas that are delicious. And I believe like a little potato square. It's really good. This is some of the best food, just like ever. Thinking now that the milk is for a different dish later on, but we cannot be sure yet. It's definitely not for this one. Imagine if I just started pouring milk over all my food. It's probably for coffee. All right, so now it's time for dessert. It looks like they brought me some fresh fruit, which looks delicious. I've been missing dragon fruit, and pear cake. And she confirms every time, whoa. She says gluten-free and confirms it every time she brings me anything, and it looks delicious. Whoa.
All right, last part of this meal service is ice cream. There's a few options for dessert. It was like ice cream, a cake, and sorted fruit. I went for the ice cream because this looks absolutely awesome, and I'm a huge ice cream guy. On the way back from the bathroom, I found a couple empty seats, and just to show you what I mean when I say they have kind of diagonal or at an angle footrests when you don't sit in the bulkhead seats, this is what I mean. As you can see, it's pretty much just like diagonal. It's kind of like a sideways angle. You don't have the straightforward or really as much legroom as you do on the bulkhead seats. The pro of sitting back here is that they have much more like privacy and a little more quiet. You're not near the galley like we are, but I do think I would still take the legroom over being back here. We'll find out more once I sleep for a little bit and see how I feel, but I just feel like having the more legroom is just way more worth it in my opinion. All right, now that we've eaten and I've given you a tour of the cabin, I think it's time for us to watch a movie and get some sleep because we got to take advantage of these lie flat seats. Well, we got our beds laid flat. What a concept. First experience ever with a lie flat bed on a plane. This is insane. I have never been horizontal on an airplane before, and I fit quite well. So like I said, for reference, I'm 5'10". Head is pretty much at the end right here, and my toes at the other end are just slightly touching. So if you're like really tall, 6'5", 6'6", you might still have to curl up a little bit. Good morning, or I guess good night. It's like 10 p.m. Singapore time right now. Slept for about 2 hours, watched a movie, and now we're getting served our next meal service. Not even necessarily sleeping, but just being able to lie down and just like have like a little space to just get comfortable like this is just so nice. First course is the chicken satay. Like little kebabs of chicken, like kind of looking fried. Ooh, very delicious.
The crab meat mayonnaise salad. Would you like that from wine?
No, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, first up we have a crab meat salad. Looks awesome. That is delicious.
Thank you. Thank you. Chicken, rice, green beans, and mushrooms. With a glaze that looks really good. It's definitely better than boiled chicken, but I don't think I'm that impressed, unfortunately.
The berries, mixed berries.
I'll have the coffee cake. That sounds good. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Like some cheese as well?
No, thank you. That's okay. Japanese coffee cake. Yep.
The dessert is in. Everyone else got cake. I got this like upside down, what tastes like those little fruit cups things, and they're really good. And I also got fruit.
Oh, that felt good. Slept like 5 hours right there. We literally have less than an hour until landing, I think, at this point. I did find that sleeping diagonally was the most comfortable. It gave me the most room. Sleeping like head to toe, like straight, was kind of shorter, it felt like. So I didn't really have enough room to like spread out really. So sleeping diagonally was definitely a much better idea, and it went really well.
I will say the con of this seat is like the moving around of this area. I feel like there were people in my space like a lot, but it wasn't that deep because I just turned over. But definitely something to note if you're like a light sleeper, I guess. Noise canceling headphones did the trick just fine.
Well, I suppose now it's time to get this bed put back into regular seat mode, if I can even call it a regular seat. They made an announcement that it's 13 degrees Celsius in New York, so kind of nice that we're not going back to colder weather than I thought we were.
Thank you.
No.
Hello, New York.
I don't know if I've ever taken a bus in the US getting off of a plane. First time for everything, I guess. All right, good morning. It is the next day. We got to our hotel in New York and I had plans to finish this video last night, but we were absolutely exhausted, so we got some dinner and promptly fell asleep. We may or may not have woken up at 3:30 in the morning because of jet lag, but that's another story. That flight was absolutely amazing. Our first time ever in business class, and I really do think it was totally worth what it costs. So that brings me to what this cost. We did not pay any money for this except for a little bit in taxes and fees because we used points. We transferred 143,000 American Express points to Singapore Airlines, and that's how many points it cost. And then we had to pay 77 Singapore dollars on top of that for taxes and fees, which works out to about 55 US dollars. Also, for some context, we booked these flights back in November, so about 3 months out. There was a cheaper option to use 111,000 points for what was called the wait list, and we had to be in New York this weekend. And so with the date restriction, we opted to pay more points so we were guaranteed a seat on that flight. But if you're willing to do the wait list or book it further in advance, I think you could probably use 111,000 points, which would be even better for this point redemption. For some perspective, each of those tickets would have cost over 5,000 Singapore dollars, which equals about 3,500 US each. So 143,000 American Express points and $55 was definitely worth it in our opinions. And I do think we have found our favorite way now to travel between the US and Asia. Thank you for watching this video up until this point. We really appreciate you and your support, and we hope that you like this video, subscribe, and leave us a comment with your favorite flight that you've ever taken. But that's it for now, so we will see you soon. These chairs are so tall. There you go. We really just have a nice, comfortable place to sit for the next. I will say, one small complaint that I have right now at this very moment is that I keep resting my arm on the tray table.
We're so excited. I'm not gonna do this. Wow.